May 19th, 2019, Money in the Bank. This is the Wrestling Inc. pay-per-view. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan and Raj Giri. We have to start with the end of that pay-per-view, right, guys? Matt, did you see that coming? Did you think that was going to be the outcome tonight?
No, and I'm annoyed with it.
Raj?
I definitely didn't see that coming. I mean, we knew that Brock Lesnar was going to be wrestling in Saudi Arabia. He's going to be most likely facing Seth Rollins. So it makes sense. It was an interesting surprise, but we're just kind of reverting back to where we were, as opposed to trying to create new superstars. And that's been a big problem that WWE has had. And I feel like coming out of tonight's pay-per-view, I thought it was a fun show, but you're not creating new superstars, like larger-than-life characters. And I felt like Brock winning, kind of underlines that problem.
Yeah. It was a weird pay-per-view overall, right? I mean, we saw some matches that didn't really make sense. A lot of outcomes were the status quo. There was some action on the women's front. But Matt, how would you book this with Brock Lesnar going forward and him being the Money in the Bank briefcase holder?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. They got rid of him, and it was, I can't believe I'm saying this about him, but they got rid of him, and it was good. And people are going to say, well, the ratings shot down, yada, yada, yada. You need to have name brand, big value talent on the roster. This is what happens when you don't. Fine. Get anybody but him. He's played out. Go get freaking anybody. Brooklyn Ball, anybody.
Well, do something different with him. Let him cut his own promos. Do something different. He's been doing the same shit for 7 years.
Even if you do, then the bell rings and we see the same crap happen again, where he just eats people alive, and then they've got to take an Uzi and a machete for anybody to beat him. It's ridiculous.
See, that's where I disagree. I think Brock's matches they're the most interesting to me because I have no idea how they're going to go. I find like the other wrestlers, what it's going to be. It's going to be, false finishes and 2 counts and kicking out each other's finishers.
Well, let me ask
Brock, you don't know.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. Back in 2005, when did Brock leave to go play football?
That was WrestleMania 20, right?
Okay, so for those 2 to 3 years before that, right, where after he beat The Rock and all that other stuff, and he was on top, it wasn't an upset anytime Kurt Angle beat him. It wasn't an upset if Eddie Guerrero beat him was, but even then it wasn't that big of an upset, honestly. Like it is today. It looks like a schoolyard kid beat the bully. Every time Brock loses now, and those guys are not coming up to his level. That's not what's happening.
Right. Yeah.
But back then, if he lost, it was believable any of them could beat Brock on a given night as champion too.
Yeah, that is a problem, is that beating Brock does not bring you up to his level, which is what the whole point of putting that much equity into someone should do. I agree.
I almost think he should cash in and lose to Seth to strengthen Seth. They're not going to do that.
I think that's what they're doing.
Because
it's going to be Seth and Lesnar at Saudi Arabia, so I'm assuming this is all done to set that up.
What a waste of a Money in the Bank. What a waste of a Money in the Bank. Brock could have just came in the front door and said, I'm back, bitches. I'm Brock Lesnar. I got a championship match. And Vince can just make it happen. And it would have been believable. They didn't need to waste this on him. Do you know how much this could have done for all of those guys in that ring?
Andrade, Drew, Ricochet, Finn, Ali.
Yeah. It's a blown opportunity to build a new star.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what a great match. But that match was awesome, by the way. That match was I love that match.
I don't know about you guys.
Ali was awesome. I thought he was he kind of stole the match, in my opinion. I thought he was amazing. Finn was great.
Finn's bumps were great. Is he insane?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Michael Cole's reactions finally were the best, because those were the shoot reactions we're all thinking, going, what the fuck? What are these guys doing to themselves out there?
Michael Cole sucked tonight, though, I thought. But,
not selling those guys bumps. Selling those guys bumps, he wasn't, because he's right.
I just think of like how JR would be calling that, and you would just think like they're just dying out there with those bumps there, because they were insane. But it was awesome. I thought this pay-per-view was actually really strong as far as a action standpoint goes.
It was.
Wrestling was great. I just think that end surprise. I mean, it was a surprise. I thought it was going to be Bray Wyatt because he's so hot right now, and the circumstances under which Sami Zayn was strung up and taken out. But yeah, this was a very unexpected end. I liked the grin that Brock had, that shit-eating grin he had at the end, made me think maybe it will be different this time, and Brock will at least have some fun with this because he knows he's the ultimate spoiler as the Money in the Bank briefcase holder.
Yeah, our Twitter poll on our Wrestling Inc. account, it's a big thumbs down for the pay-per-view. And I know it's just because of Lesnar. It's the last like 4 minutes, right? Because I bet you it was a huge thumbs up until that happened.
Yep.
There was good stuff that happened. I think the moves they made on the women's division was definitely the opposite direction, right? The nightmare scenario for the internet smart, internet wrestling community fan would have been Mandy Rose winning Money in the Bank, Lacey beating Becky, and Charlotte beating Becky, and the Blondes got shut out tonight.
Yeah.
As far as leaving with championships and opportunities. The show started off with a match that was not for the SmackDown tag titles on the pre-show. That was Rowan and Daniel Bryan versus the Usos. Hell of a match, no stakes. Matt, did you watch this?
No.
It was good.
Was it Jimmy or Jay? One of the Usos pinned Daniel Bryan to win this. So Daniel Bryan is wrestling for the WWE, defending the WWE Championship at WrestleMania a month ago. Yeah. And he's jobbing on the pre-show. And I love the Usos. We sing their praises all the time. They're awesome. But to be losing on the pre-show in a tag match that has no stakes. It wasn't even for the titles. No. What the, what? Anyway.
Yeah. And
what a waste.
The Raw tag team titles not defended on the show. It just kind of was some weird stuff overall with this. A very stacked card, a lot of matches, but a lot of short matches also that they absolutely blew through.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Once you had the brand split, so you had a bunch of people that probably shouldn't be on the pay-per-views that we're on, right? A bunch of talent to help build them up. But now it's the opposite, where there's a lot of people that should be featured that aren't getting the pay-per-view time. And you're seeing that, and you saw that tonight.
They opened the official Money in the Bank pay-per-view with in memory of Ashley Massaro card, who passed away on Thursday at the age of 39, former WWE superstar. Raj Wrestling Inc. had some of the story there in the details. Should we talk about that later in the episode, or do you want to cover that?
We could talk about it real quick. There's not much else that's known. There was a fake Facebook post by Shelly Martinez, who was an Ariel with who was the vampire gimmick? What was that? Kevin Thorne. Yeah. So she was close friends with Ashley Massaro, and there was a fake Facebook post that made the rounds. That wasn't from her, but it claimed to be from her Facebook account. So that was claiming some things which weren't true. So it's not known how she passed away. I think there are a lot of people that are assuming certain things. She did struggle with depression and stuff in the past, but there's nothing known. But man, she was 39 years old, had a daughter. Wow, it's just
20-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's just awful news.
No, absolutely. And glad to see the WWE paying respect.
Yeah, she was involved in that lawsuit against WWE that was dropped last September. WWE had sent us a statement with some excerpts from Ashley's email that was sent a month later, which I don't know. I just thought it was a weird thing to... I don't know. I thought it was weird that they sent parts of an email, not the whole email, just parts of it. But yeah.
It's a strange time in the company. And is it true, Raj, that backstage before tonight's show, WWE, Stephanie McMahon gave sort of a rah-rah speech about the brand, and in that they acknowledged that AEW was competition?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's got to be a very, very weird time within the company right now.
Well, I mean, they're getting real competition on a national level for the first time in 20 years. And we know how that went for a while. WWF at that time was, I mean, there was a time there where it looked like, man, is WCW going to put these guys out of business? When it was announced that Bret Hart was leaving for WCW, it felt like, I remember everywhere people were reporting, is this the final nail in the coffin? Like, that's what it kind of felt like at that time. I mean, people forget how vulnerable WWE was at that time. So they don't want that. They don't want that again. I mean, it's not going to happen again anytime soon, but they don't want that competition.
Yeah, and AEW going to Turner definitely
it's huge news.
Has them well positioned. Matt, when you were with TNA, how much do you think it legitimately felt like you were chomping at their heels, breathing down their neck, giving them real run for their money for dominance?
I really thought once Hogan came in, we would, you know what I mean? Well, not that we were going to beat them in ratings, but that we would take some of their viewers away for sure. And then maybe eventually a few years later, if we were able to build upon that, maybe. But I would argue our best years were 2008 to 2010, where I know we had a better show. I know it was better written. I know the storylines lasted longer. The wrestlers we had were better. It's right around time Jack Swagger was champion. whatever year that was. I know our show was better top to bottom at the time. And anybody that wants to challenge that, you can go back and look up those shows 08, 09, 2010, and you'll see what I'm saying. It's right before Hogan came in.
Dude, there was a time when TNA was doing 2 million viewers every now and then. It wasn't the normal number, but they hit 2 million viewers. That's more than SmackDown's doing now. And that's almost where Raw is at. So there was a time there where TNA, I mean, WWF was way hotter back then, but TNA was a legit threat.
I remember when I was at Universal Studios, I think it wasn't my honeymoon. I think it was maybe first anniversary. And they're going around, hey, you want to come see a wrestling show? We got Hulk Hogan. We got Rob Van Dam, all this stuff. And I remember people being very impressed. It was mainstream, it seemed, with TNA at the time. You know, more so than it ever had been.
I mean, with the 20 main names.
Yeah.
And they should have done more with it, but they didn't. I'd argue, again, right before they came, in my opinion, was our best shows as far as entertainment went. And they're pushing all the young guys right around main event Mafia time.
That makes sense.
Was that they didn't do enough. Like when they started Fortune, right? Like with Bobby Roode and James Storm. It was a cool faction, but they didn't do enough to, like, it was disbanded within like a few months. The main event Mafia was a cool group. It was just, yeah, man, you were feuding with them. Disbanded, you know, like within a year. They didn't kind of go all the way. And that's a different topic for a different day, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to that end, let's talk about the note that AEW Double or Nothing, which is 1 week, less than 1 week away, coming up Saturday night. Now, Raj and Matt will be doing the podcast after that at Wrestling Inc. I'll actually be in Vegas for Double or Nothing and at the after party sponsored by Blue Chew. Adam Page versus Pac got pulled from Double or Nothing and supposedly over a creative decision. What are the details on that, Raj?
So apparently,
Pac don't want to do the job.
Well, there are reports now that Pac was supposed to win, but
I made that up, by the way.
Right? Well, I mean, that's what everyone's assuming, right?
Really?
Yeah, because wins and losses matter, which I love. I love that they are making wins and losses matter, so they're not doing a cheap finish. Where it looks crappy is that a week before they have to cancel one of their top matches on the show because of someone for something they should have known for a long time. Pac is the Dragon's Gate champion. He takes the wins and losses seriously. He's the undefeated streak that he's on seriously. He won't lose. I guess there was some talk that Pac would be winning and then losing eventually to Kenny Omega, and feeling like they can't get there with Pac refusing to lose. So, they decided to cancel this match altogether. So
they should. How's Kenny Omega not going to be the first champion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they want to build to Kenny Omega winning the title as opposed to him just getting it right off the bat.
No, he's a bigger name right off the bat. He wins, someone like that. Then you build an Adam Page.
Yeah, I mean, I see the argument for that, but that's they were going with
Adam
this.
Page being the first champion right off the bat. He's not known enough to do it. I love him. I'm a fan of his work, but
I agree.
I'd like to see him be able to cash in on it and really help that company. He can if they build him with enough TVs.
Page is a superstar in the making. I mean, he's got the look.
He's young as hell.
Yep. He's got enough size. He's got enough size in today's era to be a top guy.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
So to play rumor killer, Raj, what do you think the odds are that Moxley is the replacement for Pac against Hangman Page at Double or Nothing?
I mean, I feel like there was a big blunder on their part with letting this match fall apart this close to the show. They're going to have to pull something out of their hat, and that's probably the biggest thing, right? Outside of CM Punk.
No, Moxley, and then you have to have Moxley win.
Right. Yeah. You don't bring him in and have him lose right off the bat. But Moxley is supposed to be filming this cage fighter movie, and that's what he's supposed to be doing for the time being until he's done filming it. So
what? They're not doing a full tournament.
I know, exactly.
Like that, right? Can he just show up, do TV bounce? I did. I shot American Gladiators in California, for crying out loud, and flew back to Orlando to do TNA 4 days in a row, back to California to do American Gladiators again.
Yeah, you're talking a handful of nights that he'd be working with the AEW schedule right now until they move to Turner in the fall. So yeah, absolutely. It's not a big time commitment. So sure.
And the cons can afford it. I think they could write him a check for a lot of zeros.
A lot of that has to deal with what is his deal with WWE? Did WWE give him, the way they sent him out just makes me think like he's going to end up back there. They don't do that for other talents.
They normally don't.
I thought that would have been more likely tonight than Brock Lesnar if you would asked me an hour ago.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Or Savio Vega. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. So we're going to recap all Money in the Bank in a moment. But first, I want to thank a brand new sponsor to the Wrestling Inc. podcast, and that's Nutsack. Nutsack makes bags for men. That's Nutsack, spelled Nutsac. How did they get their name? They were told they were nuts to manufacture in America. Nutsack makes perfect bags for your everyday carry. I've been using my Nutsack that they sent to me. I've got a Satchel Pro. I absolutely love it. I can fit my iPad Pro in there, my keys, my wallet, my AirPods. Keep a notepad in there as well. It's got everything I need when it's on the go. I'm not stuffing my pockets anymore. I'm not sitting on my wallet, for Christ's sakes.
So you have a big Nutsack.
I have not the biggest Nutsack, Matt, but it's sizable.
I think my nutsack could have been bigger, just for the record. I think I could have. Yeah.
It's perspective, Matt.
Can it always?
Matt, you're like 8 feet tall, so proportionally, your nutsack's going to look a little smaller. I'm just saying. But no, these bags are absolutely incredible. And we've got a special deal for our listeners, so stay tuned. These bags are comfortable. They offer a wide range made from high-quality materials and excellent craftsmanship. American waxed canvas, American leather, American labor, made in the USA, strongly water-resistant, and they come with a lifetime guarantee, which I love. I've been going through messenger bags. I've been going through backpacks, probably at a rate of about 2 every 5 years. And what I love about this is your nutsack is an investment. This is something that's going to last you a lifetime. If it falls apart, if it has any issues, they're going to replace it. And in fact, they've got a guarantee, a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you buy a nutsack, you give it a try. If you don't love it, they're going to give you your money back. It's comfortable, it's rugged, it's durable. You can beat the hell out of it. And again, you just keep your stuff in there. You're going to be better organized. You can just grab your nutsack and go. We've got a special. Oh, yeah, Matt, please.
Real quick. The other day I had my nutsack and I was getting in the car and I slammed it in the car door and it was still okay.
Yeah.
So I just got mine a week and a half ago, I think, and I took it on a hike because I never take like a laptop bag or anything. I put my laptop, my phone, everything in there because usually my pockets are just full, and it was just awesome. Like it was just easy to hike with, put down.
Was your nutsack bouncing a lot when you were hiking or no?
It was, yes. And
you put a lot of stuff in it, though. Your wallet. That was smart, though. You know what I mean? It didn't fall out, like you said.
Absolutely. They're very. It's very rugged. The nutsack.
I'm getting mine packed and ready to go for StarCast in Vegas. And so if you see me walking around, just yell out, "Hey, nice nutsack!" And we'll say hi. We'll have a moment. It won't be awkward at all. But these bags are fantastic. Okay, so here's what you got to do. Go to the website, nutsack.com. That's nutsac.com. nutsac.com. Check it out. You're going to love the selection they have there, and you're going to get $5 off your order, off your first purchase, when you use our promo code, which is wrestling at checkout. Again, that's nutsac.com. Promo code wrestling at checkout to save $5. You're going to love this. This is great. I've been a big proponent of the man bag for years, but the problem is a lot of them guys, they look like a purse, but with the nutsack, they're going to know you're a guy. It's rugged, it's tough, it's durable, and they're hella fashionable to boot. Can't beat it. Nutsack, nutsac.com. Promo code wrestling. Save $5 at checkout. I'm so excited to have them here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. And
we are, making some jokes here, but it is really a cool bag. Like I did take it on the hike, and they are, they last.
I thought they thought the other innuendo. I thought for sure they were thinking of the latter. Of course they know that.
Right. but no, I mean, yeah, I know, but it's easy for people to discount it based on the name. But check out the site, see what they've got.
I would not be using it, people. You know that I would not be using it if it wasn't awesome.
Yeah, no, I've owned a lot of messenger bags in my time. This is the absolute best. It's beautiful. I've got one right here. You can see my nutsack, whipping it out on the Wrestling Inc. podcast, as it were.
Mine, seriously.
Yeah. Substantial sack. nutsac.com, promo code wrestling, save $5, and we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. And they're going to be a regular part of the show for the coming months. So look for more from us, more of our journeys with our nutsacks here on Wrestling Inc. Let's talk about Money in the Bank for a little bit. And the opening match, the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, Natalya versus Dana Brooke versus Naomi versus Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose versus Bayley versus Ember Moon versus Carmella. Nikki Cross, a replacement for Alexa Bliss, who was not medically cleared to compete. Do you know the story there, Raj?
With Alexa Bliss?
Yeah.
So Alexa Bliss had suffered a concussion. I guess it was late last month in a match with Naomi. Has not been cleared. She hasn't wrestled yet. I guess they thought she would be cleared in time for this pay-per-view. She's had a lot of, has had several over the last year or so. I think it's starting to get to the point where it's starting to get concerning. But she was not, they felt like her being in a ladder match was probably not the best thing. I think she's going to be coming back soon, probably as soon as tomorrow night, but they didn't want her to come back in this match. So
very smart. And I predicted Bayley was winning, guys. Go back and watch the tape.
Hey, there you go. I had Mandy Rose, and it was Bayley and Mandy Rose at the end.
Hey, and we had that moment with Mandy looking like she was going to win, with Sonya Deville helping her up the ladder, helping her to that win.
How strong is Sonya lifting Mandy up that ladder? Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it should have been Mandy, but I think that Sonya and Mandy have such a great story. If they ever pull the trigger and actually tell it and break them up, there could be a great feud here. I just don't feel like they're ever going full on with this.
Storytelling has not been WWE's forte lately. So they have something there. There's something that they have been building. Could they easily just drop it and never gets heard from again? Yeah. That's very possible.
Yes, they could.
They absolutely could. But I agree with you. I think that's where they should go.
Yeah, I wonder if that's sort of the attitude backstage. If Vince literally thinks, oh, the audience tells their own story. They fill in their own blanks. The wrestlers do this all on Twitter.
Absolutely. I mean, look at this wild card rule. They say 4 people, and then you have 6 on SmackDown. I mean, they're not adhering to it. You had the pre-show with the Usos, who are a Raw tag team. So first, the wild card was supposed to be between Raw and SmackDown. Apparently, it applies to pay-per-views. They never mentioned that. Usos are facing Daniel Bryan and Rowan. They never mention if it's a title match or not. It's just,
there was a tweet that it was a title match, and they deleted it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, they don't know what they're doing. It's just a mess right now creatively. It sucks that the fans care more than the company does about the consistency and the storylines. We have to draw our own conclusions. Like, oh, the Usos count as one. When they do the wild card, but say that. Have the commentators say that.
Yeah. No, and we had that with Bayley tonight winning. I mean, look, that was a great way to build off audience sentiment. I think everyone was very happy in the crowd for that win. We'll talk about her cash in later. But what was interesting is their interview afterwards, they were name dropping Sasha Banks and talking about their tag team championship reign, albeit short lived, and then how Bayley came to SmackDown and what she was there to do. So it's very interesting. You got to wonder if this was perhaps in the cards for Sasha had she stuck around after WrestleMania.
What went on to happen, make no mistake about it. Not that Bayley doesn't deserve it. She deserves this, first and foremost, what happened tonight. Okay? Yeah. But make no mistake, that was also a shot to Sasha.
Yeah.
Be very clear about this. That's exactly how they work.
It was totally a shot. That's how I read it. It was kind of like, this is, we're giving opportunities. You could have stuck around, but you decided to complain, even though I think Sasha was right. You look at where the Iconics are right now. You look at where the women's tag titles are right now. People forget about it. But they have their way of doing things. Look at the Revival, shaving backs and, rubbing their nuts on Raw.
Matt, could you imagine if you were backstage right now, the weird psychological politicking that would be going on to make it think that somehow you're going to spite some other wrestler if you get an opportunity? Well, that somehow it's going to hurt another wrestler if you get an opportunity. Like, oh, that would make so-and-so so mad if they put the belt on Matt Morgan. We should do that just to spite that other talent,
No, that's really.
Yeah, but this is like some next level shit going on.
I'm on Ryback's podcast this week. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and he talks so much about the vindictive stuff that WWE would pull. And by the way, so many things about like how much people get hurt in the pocketbook with losing their push. Like Matt, he talks about how much he made with the WrestleMania match with Mark Henry. And then the next year when he was in with what was it called? Rybacksel, I think was the tag team name. And his pay for that show, it went from like $500,000 to $50,000, or it was something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just we go into details as far as numbers go, like just backstage stories and things like that. So it's going to be on Ryback's podcast. We're going to have stories on it. And then we'll be releasing it on the Weekly at some point as well.
So speaking of pay and match status and position, after Bayley won, we had the United States title match, Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. Is there?
Oh, by the way, Bayley won that match. Did we say that?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Bayley is the Money in the Bank winner.
Taking forever to get there, but yes.
Yes. So Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe in one of tonight's many short matches. So, Matt, from a pay-per-view payout, does a short match like this pay the same as doing something like Kofi versus KO?
Yes, at this level, it does. Look, like, what do you mean? The length of the match?
Yeah, I mean, they had like a 30-second match.
Yes.
Wow. It's crazy. Is Joe sick or something?
If Joe went longer versus Joe going shorter,
yeah,
no, they paid the same.
Wow. That's
impressive. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brock got his payday for that short match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. They're not like, hey man, we're cutting your pay tonight because you're only going to go 3 minutes.
Booking committee. It's the booking that did that. The writers that make those time limits, not the wrestlers.
Very short match. There was blood in the match. Joe was bleeding.
He looked jacked.
Absolutely.
I mean, fucked up in the face with whatever the kick or whatever was at the end. Yeah. Not jacked, like ripped.
Yeah, no, if you look online, you can see like there's a great anime gif with like the blood coming out of his nose, like just gnarly. But yeah,
I hate what they're doing with Joe. They could be doing so much with him.
And the first of the weird finishes where his shoulders weren't really down, commentary was shitting on the refs. But Rey Mysterio is the United States champion.
Boo.
I love Rey, but I just think back to when they did that the Samoa Joe and Brock feud, and what a killer Joe looked like during that, and how quickly he got brought down. This is why they're not making superstars right now. They'll build someone quick, Braun Strowman, perfect example, and then just drop them for no reason, and then people just see him as just another guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After this quick match, so there's more of a beatdown after Samoa Joe getting his comeuppance over Rey. Dominic was there.
Surprised they didn't have him attack Dominic yet. I wonder if they're waiting for that, but that's got to be coming. Or Dominic on Rey, something's coming.
Yes.
Yeah. Braun Strowman was backstage looking for Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn talked to Triple H earlier, worried that Braun was going to come and attack him. That led to Sami Zayn being strung up and unresponsive, taken to a local medical facility and out of the Money in the Bank match for later. Braun was ejected, though, since he got the blame for that. We have the steel cage match, The Miz versus Shane McMahon. Another ref instance where the ref broke the count with Shane holding the rope. Ian commentary saying, like, wait a second, in steel cage, no DQ. Yeah, you shouldn't stop the count for a rope break. What did you think of this match compared to Shane's other matches, Matt?
I thought it was good. I mean, it wasn't terrible, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was no holy shit moment of him doing a massive stunt, though. He did that.
Good. he's getting old, man. He should not be doing those.
That's why we watch Shane matches, though.
It's usually why we watch Shane matches, though.
Absolutely.
But we've seen so many of them. He has to do it every week. There's no way to keep that up, which should be a sign. Keep having him out there, have him cut promos, help get people over on the mic. He doesn't have to wrestle.
Yeah. Tonight he didn't. I don't think his presence added anything to this match.
Yeah. Athletically, no.
Miz loses again. Loses at WrestleMania, loses again. I'm sure he's going to get his win back at some point, but
it's not going to matter. It's going to be.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. And they've made him look weak. I think, because in all their exchanges, like on Raw and SmackDown, Miz will attack Shane. And then by the end of it, Shane turns the tables and kicks the shit out of Miz.
Yes.
So it's like the only reason to do that would be for Miz to finally get his win, even though week after week of doing that, you're still building Miz, bringing Miz down and down, and then he loses. So I think they just kind of buried Miz as a babyface. He needs to turn heel. This isn't going to go well for him.
Yeah. So Shane got the win tonight. He escaped. They announced tomorrow that on Raw, Hall of Famer Mick Foley is announcing a new title, a new WWE title tomorrow night. Do you have any insight on what that could possibly be, Raj?
This is the first I've ever heard of it. So the last thing we see where the women's tag titles is right now, they don't need any new titles. Hopefully they're merging something is my hope. I hope they're announcing the tag titles and they merge the Raw and SmackDown tag titles or something, because they don't need any.
Maybe Rey versus Finn Balor. and they merged the U.S. and the Intercontinental and call something different. Could they do that though? The Intercontinental's been around so long.
Or they just call it the Intercontinental. I don't think they could get rid of that. U.S. is not part of their lineage, before WCW. But Intercontinental, yeah, back when Pat Patterson won the tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
But it's Mick Foley making the announcement. Does that give us a clue?
I thought hardcore. I think that right, but
yeah,
that's what I thought too. But then it's like in today's PG environment, you see how hardcore they get, and that's gonna be. And that was always the most meaningless of meaningless titles. Do you need enough? Do you need that?
And then John Moxley returns to win the Hardcore Championship.
Oh, that'd be a waste of his of the interest in him, I think.
Yeah.
I agree. The cruiserweight match. This was interesting tonight. I thought Arya Daivari versus Tony Nese. Thought they put on a hell of a match. Crowd woke up for this, but I love the entrance on this. I thought they made Daivari look like $1 million. Thought the wrestling was really good.
Daivari tries, and it's just no one watches 205 Live. No one knows who these guys are. So it was like a fart in church with this match, where they're busting their ass trying, and no one gave a shit.
But this is another reason why I hate to say this, because I can't wrestle this style myself, obviously. So, but this is why you can't keep bringing Brock back, because you need to continue to have these type of matches on these cards to condition the fans that wrestling's changing. We thought it changed since Daniel Bryan and CM Punk got the push. It's changing again. It's evolving again. It's quicker. It's faster. It's more athletic. You don't have to be 10 feet tall to do it. You don't have to be jacked to do it. You got to be an athlete. And a fast action stuff, right? I mean, not just spot, but fast action. And they got to continue to condition these fans. And there's going to be a lull, like there was when Shawn Michaels was first starting to come up and Bret Hart won the title. You know what I mean? Like before that happened, there was like a lull in the business, if you remember.
Oh, it was a huge lull, yeah.
And like Nash was a champion, I believe, Diesel, right? And
he's feuding with Mabel.
People thought that was terrible because they're like, what's going on in ECW? We can watch all this other stuff going on where there's a lot more action. What the hell is this stuff? We don't want to see this anymore. We want to see fast, more action, right? And I think we can go there. We're about to go there, but they've got to continue. They got to get these guys off 205 Live, number one, and they've got to make like this is the route you guys are going to take. So if you cannot continue to have Brock come in and eat these guys alive. You can't.
And then also, Matt, to your point, I agree. I just think like people need to know who you are to care about your match. They don't give a shit about two people having a good match if they don't know who they are.
Yes.
And by not having them on Raw and SmackDown, I don't think either of these guys have been on Raw or SmackDown in a year, at least.
Mania was the most Nice got.
Yeah. And so I mean, I feel like Eric Bischoff booked the cruiserweights way better. You'd start them off hot early in the show when the crowd is hot.
Yes.
People would get to know the characters.
Yep.
I mean, people would shit on Eric Bischoff for not pushing it later and the guy's not going on to the world title level. But that cruiserweight division was hot. Like fans would react. Mysterio became a superstar. Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho all became much bigger than they were before. WWE's cruiserweight division is doing nothing for these guys. It's an albatross. I mean, no one knows who Tony Nese is. No one, Buddy Murphy moved to SmackDown, hasn't been, his face is on a milk carton. Him and Eric Young.
Got to get him on TV more.
Yeah, you got to feature them. Get rid of 205 Live. Feature these matches on SmackDown or Raw or whatever, and make that part of the show. Don't have purple ropes and try to act like it's its own brand. It's just a different title, like a tag title.
Yeah. I thought Arya Daivari's entrance tonight was really good. I was surprised they didn't give him the win and try and do something with this character, but Tony Nese retained. Good match, but yeah, it's further highlights the problems with the cruiserweights. I want to take a quick moment here, thank the second sponsor of this episode. So in Vegas next week, I'm going to be keeping in my nutsack. Raj, I'm sure you as well. Blue Chew, BlueChew.com. Guys, you remember the days when you were always ready to go? Well, they're in the past now, and when it comes to the bedroom, perhaps you're like Mandy Rose and you need Sonya Deville to help carry you up that ladder. That's what Blue Chew is. It's like Sonya Deville for your junk, helping you get up that ladder, grabbing that briefcase, and seizing that glory. In fact, you pop a Blue Chew, you know how it works. You know how you know it's kicking in. Bobby Roode's Glorious just starts playing out of nowhere. You look down and you're like, well, I guess it's go time. Now you can increase your performance, get that extra confidence in bed. BlueChew.com. They bring you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. this. This is the hardcore stuff, the stuff that works. You take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. Since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever that opportunity arises. Tell us about your own Blue Chew experience. Just keep sending those DMs, keep sending those emails. Guys, I don't need to see the photos, but I love hearing about it. People are saying that their partner is thanking them. Their partner is thanking Wrestling Inc. and thanking me for bringing something to their bedroom, to their love life. People are saying about something extra that they're experiencing. I feel like we're just the Candyman giving out boners to all of America and the internet wrestling community with Blue Chew. Now, remember, this is just not for guys who can't perform. It's for any guy who wants that extra function to enhance their performance in the bedroom. You talk that game, but if you're one and done, Blue Chew can help you follow through for round 2, 3, 4, and more. It's prescribed online, shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visit, no more waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. Made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy, and we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com. Get your first shipment free. Just use our special promo code WINC. Just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BlueChew.com, BLUE Chew.com. Promo code WINC to try it free. Blue Chew, the better, cheaper, faster choice. We thank them for sponsoring the podcast, and they're sponsoring StarCast. Check it out next week. I'm going to be there. Raj is going to be there. Raj, there's going to be a Wrestling Inc. panel, 2:30 on Friday. The Wrestling Inc. Hootenanny, you, myself, Nick Hausman.
So it's Scott Fishman, who also writes for the a lot of publications like TV Insider, Miami Herald, does a lot of interviews here on Wrestling Inc. But yeah, it's going to be a fun thing at the Tuscany Casino and Suites as part of the podcast movement event that goes that day. So if you have tickets for StarCast, you automatically have a ticket for this. So come check us out. We'll be giving away shirts and playing, having games and talking about the big topics right now going on in wrestling, how much it's going to change. AEW coming on the scene with the national TV deal, the XFL, what that means for Vince McMahon. And we want to hear from you guys too. So it'll be a chance for all of us to, to talk about this stuff and, a chance for us to interact, which, when we do it on the chat and stuff, it's great, but we don't do it face to face. So it'll be a great opportunity for us to meet everyone. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Guys, you don't have to tell me about your Blue Chew experience in person, though. We can just save that for the internet. That's better as an online thing. BlueChew.com, try it free, promo code WINC, just pay $5 shipping, and we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. 2 women's matches tonight, back-to-back. Raw women's title match, Lacey Evans versus Becky Lynch. Matt Morgan, how do you think Lacey Evans looked tonight?
I thought she looked great.
I love that entrance coming out with the money in the green.
Yeah,
thought it was good.
She looks like a superstar.
Yep.
I don't, the match itself was what it was. It was okay. I thought Lacey did a great job for the position that she was in.
Yes. Yes.
Her first, when you think about it in terms of her sports buildup, this match makes no sense why she got a title shot. She hadn't really beaten anyone. I think she beat Natalya. So as far as if you're doing a storyline in a movie, why would someone get a title shot that's never really won a match on TV? But I thought she did great.
Because when you come in and you pass the look test, the smell test, the snuff test, like she did, versus the other girls that are on that roster,
for sure,
have been abused and ran over, and nobody really cares about sometimes by their past opponents, because they've been run down by other opponents zillions of times. Their records are all 500.
Right. But then give her some wins on TV, right?
That's what they were doing by having her come in and jaw jack people, you know what I mean, and knock them out, and she took it right to the champion. I mean, that's how you hot shot somebody really quickly without having to give a match. You'd like to see that, you would, but I mean, that's why I had no problem. I mean, eventually after like the third time seeing her, I'm like, okay, I was wrong. I could see her as a main event act.
I think she's a star. I just think, again, just give her a couple wins heading into this, so there's a reason why she gets a title shot. But I thought, I agree with you, Matt. I think she, people criticize Vince a lot, but a lot of times when he sees someone that's a star, later on they become a star. So, and I think this is going to be one of those cases.
So Becky retained the Raw Women's title over Lacey. When Becky got Lacey into the disarmor, Lacey immediately tapped. Matt, is that part of the producer of the segment? Do they talk about that? How long you should wait before doing the tap out in a match?
Yes, for them, yes. For the girls, especially someone as green as Lacey, yes.
I'm surprised they did it so quick. I think that was the one thing that hurt her, is that she could have looked a little tougher.
Could have been a mistake by her, but they usually would go over that. They go over every detail.
Gotcha. And after that, Charlotte Flair came out and said, "We're going right now for the SmackDown Women's Championship." They had a really competitive match, and then they had Lacey interfere in that match to hit Becky with the women's right, so that way it would soften her up a bit, so Flair could win. But Becky still looks strong. What did you think of that choice to take one of the belts off Becky, the SmackDown Championship, and give that to Charlotte momentarily, Matt?
Well, to get to what needed to happen, I thought it was very smart. We said all the whole time that we thought she should lose one of those titles because it opens up other storylines and it makes another person. Remember, we kept saying Bayley is right at the precipice of that level. She just needs to get some damn wins. They need to start treating her like a real act, right?
Yeah.
She has all the talent in the world to match those girls.
Yeah, well, then Bayley cashes in tonight when Charlotte was basically knocked out. Some people were saying they thought the rule was the champ had to be on their feet or something. Yeah,
you got to be up. You got to be able to answer the bell. You got to be on it. You got to be.
Yeah,
that's not. I don't know how true that is because I think you just got to be able to call for the bell and tell the ref verbally you're good to go.
I feel like there's been a lot of times where the guys are just out, right? And when they cash in, and like when Seth cashed in on Roman and Brock, I thought they were both down on the ground when he cashed in and came in, and you just can't look at WWE for that kind of consistent storytelling.
No way.
So Bayley cashed in and pinned Charlotte and won. Yep. So one thing I want to ask you, Matt, is after Bayley, it seemed to be going immediately for some photo ops in the crowd. Is that talked about in Gorilla where they say, hey, there's this sign out there that says Bayley in the bank, run over there and we'll get a shot with you with the people surrounding you. Is that sort of stuff discussed?
If you look to the referee sitting there, coach telling her as well.
Gotcha.
And there's some security as well that work for the company that end up look like they're working for the arena, but they're really from backstage. They do as well.
Gotcha.
You can see the referee talking to her plainly.
Yeah. No, I thought it was great. I thought tonight was amazing, right? Given how poorly Bayley's been booked. And you've said this all along, that the crowd loves her. You thought for a while they screwed it up, but tonight, crowd popped for that. They were very, very excited to see her win and see her as the SmackDown Women's Champion. Now, Raj, you, as probably the expert statistician amongst us, is she now the first ever women's WWE Grand Slam champion? She's got the Raw title, NXT, SmackDown,
and women's tag titles. Yep.
Yeah.
She is the first. I mean, there can only be four, right? Like her, Sasha,
Peyton and Billy. But you know, none of them have done that. So yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, Charlotte has a more unique distinction in that she was Divas, NXT, Divas main roster, WWE Women's Champion, Raw Women's Champion, and SmackDown Women's Champ, but no tag title in the mix. So good for Bayley. I'm hoping she holds this for a while. I'm worried that in less than a month, SmackDown is taping in Sacramento, which is pretty darn close to her hometown. That's where she lost last time.
Yeah, the hometown job coming up.
Do you think they keep her with Charlotte, Matt, going forward?
Why not?
Yeah. No,
what else do they got? You know?
Yeah.
There's no one else at that level right now. I mean, Naomi clearly is, but she's not being pushed at that level. I just think they've done the 50-50 to death with all the women on that roster to where there's just nothing else you could do. Agreed.
Backstage, Elias attacked Roman. Then Elias went out to the ring, did a promo on electric guitar as opposed to acoustic. Roman came out for their match, hit him with the spear, covered him from the pin to win. It was short, but he kept it going.
It was probably like 15 seconds, I think this match was.
Yeah.
By the time it got going.
Which was good. This was good for Roman, though.
Yeah. He should not be having a competitive match with Elias.
That's why this was good. This whole segment was good. And Elias still did get over in this segment, believe it or not.
He got his time in, yeah.
And then we had Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal title. Matt, what did you think of this match?
Awesome. Loved it. Love the reversals. AJ's working with an injury, don't forget. But I love the fact that they paid such close attention to so many details that I think some of those reversals went over some of the fans' heads. There was one really cool one. We went for like I want to say a hip toss. And AJ looked like he was going to arm drag, and he looked like he was going to arm drag him, and he pulled him back up. You guys got to watch it again. And it went right over the fans' heads in the arena. They didn't even pick up on it. It was so damn pinpoint perfect as far as all the reversals they were doing. I like the match a lot, but I was hoping AJ would win.
That stomp into the Styles Clash that AJ turned into. I thought AJ had it there. I thought that was the end of the match.
It was great.
I wish he did, but no, that was great. That was a great match.
I honestly thought this was my favorite WWE match of the year so far.
Wow.
I can't think of any other. I mean, what else is there that's kind of close to this? I mean, Kofi and Daniel Bryan was more emotional, I guess, but as far as just a match goes, I thought this was the best match I've seen in a long time, WWE wise, and that was great. I'd love to see, right now the bookings are the advertised shows this summer are for Seth to face Baron Corbin, and I'd much rather see AJ turn heel and keep this feud going. Man, go do an Iron Man match. We haven't seen those in forever. Wow. They're so this could be a hot feud. They have great chemistry. You saw it tonight. I think they should just keep going with this this isn't any disrespect to Corbin. I think Corbin's been working hard. I think his outfit sucks and it brings him down. Yeah. But I just think this is the way to go.
Yeah. Interesting that they counter-programmed against Game of Thrones with this match. And then
this was planned way ahead of time. Game of Thrones, I think their schedule came out just a few months ago, and me and Matt.
I'm saying match-wise.
Right after we're done here,
I'm saying match-wise.
We're dragging ass, Glenn.
I'm saying match-wise, they were looking at when Game of Thrones was starting when they put this together and decided to go with these two matches, the two longest matches on the card.
I don't think that's it. I think they want Lesnar was the big surprise, so they want that at the end, and you want to spread the world title matches out.
Yeah. Well, so Seth Rollins retained in that, and then we had a quick cool down match with Lars Sullivan coming out and beating the crap out of Lucha House Party.
He did not get over tonight. The fans didn't care at all what he did.
Do you think it's the backlash, or do you think it wouldn't have mattered either?
No, I don't think it mattered. I think Sting took
he needs. I don't know if they're having him grow his hair out because of controversy, but he needs to shave that head.
Yes, he does. I agree.
This whole thing is so interesting to me. I mean, we've never seen a controversy like what he's had specifically.
It's rough. I mean, these are things that were done a long time ago to come back before he was with the company. And
he was in developmental for part of it, I guess, is why they're
the ones that were when he was in developmental were not that bad. The really bad ones were back in the day, and he was trolling. I don't know who knows what he really feels. I believe him when he says that, Titus O'Neil is a great ambassador for the company. And when he firsthand has talked to Lars and says that he believes that Lars was sorry, didn't mean it, and he truly regrets what was out there, I believe Titus, as opposed to people that aren't there. So I think, he regrets it. He paid his debt.
$100,000
fine.
Matt, did you ever get a real fine in WWE?
No.
This is only the third time I've heard of it. Steve Austin got fined $250,000 when he wouldn't lose to Brock and came back. Batista was fined $100,000 for blading in a match with Chris Jericho, and then Dean Malenko was fined $5,000. He was the agent in that match, and Jericho was fined too. But it's a stiff. I mean, when you know how much people in NXT make, the average salary is $80,000. This is a stiff freaking fine that he got. It's going to take him a long time to be able to pay that. So, in my opinion, he's paid it. I'm moving on from this. I think he got punished. It was an appropriate punishment. I thought it was actually excessive, but it's time to move on.
Kevin Owens versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. How did this match live up to your expectations, Matt?
I like Kevin constantly trying to get heat from the fans.
Yeah.
I dug that. He works his butt off to be the heel in every match he's in, which is a lost start today. Everybody's always so worried about getting their crap in. They don't stop and get heat anymore. And he gets good old-fashioned heels heat, so I respect him. So I like watching his stuff because of it. He draws me in more. I didn't understand taking out Kofi's sneaker. I don't know if I missed something there. I didn't.
Yeah,
he ripped that off and chucked it at the table.
All right. Well, what was that?
I popped huge. Though.
I thought they were gonna do an Eddie Guerrero spot.
I thought he was like, was he gonna like crush his like legs, his ankles, his Achilles tendon? Like, what was he doing? The only thing I could think of was like, why is he taking the sneakers off? Are they unguarded now for him to injure off the top rope? Or I couldn't think it. What the hell was the point of that?
Yeah,
it made no sense.
But other than that, I love watching his matches. I do. That was good. Kofi is the one that I am very worried about. I continue to. Again, the backstage pre-tape. Did you see the pre-tape before the match?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me between the two guys in that promo, who cut a more money promo? Xavier Woods did.
I mean, Kofi wasn't looking at the camera at all. He was. I want Kofi. You know, I want this thing with Kofi to succeed. I want him to become a top level guy, a legit top level guy, not just he's put there.
Yeah.
And
but
because
you guys got to dig deep, and you think it happened by now? Just react.
And he's got to get rid of Xavier Woods. He can't have. You know, it's weird when a babyface has backup, you know, and the heel doesn't. And I just think he just needs to break away from the New Day stuff a little bit. They could still be his buddies, but he needs to be his own guy.
I was hoping Big E was going to come back and dev it and just crush him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he was backstage, yeah, I just feel like Kofi. I thought the match was really good, but the crowd, they just lost steam when Kofi needed to do the grabbing the rope to break the pin. And then after that, I just felt like the crowd wasn't into it. When Kofi hit Trouble in Paradise, they popped for the 3 count, and then it was just silence.
There's still residual leftover heat from WrestleMania that he still has, right? For getting this push out of nowhere, right? It's still lasting. It's aftertaste that we're experiencing with these fans across America, right? They're getting a chance to see a guy they've seen so many years bust his ass. Now they're coming to his town as champion. So, you know what I mean? So they get the experience. If you notice, after 5 minutes, it starts to decrescendo. And it's, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they're over scripting him. I know he's a huge wrestling mark. He's a huge fan. So I know, like I've told you guys a million times, he's had to have cut this promo like a zillion and one times. This man, he's had to have. And I just don't know why he's not telling them, I got this, go away. And do whatever he wants to do on the mic and come from the heart instead of yelling and doing that weird voice of his that he does when it's promo 101. And he's using what they're telling him, because tonight he said in his promo, and I'll repeat, something along the lines of, I don't want this I don't want this a lot. I want this a hell of a lot. Come on, no, you don't talk like that.
Right.
I know him. He doesn't talk like nobody talks like that.
No.
Yeah.
I just think, but if WWE comes to him and they're like, all right, well, after you throw the pancakes, you gotta, you gotta say this. And him, where he was 6 months ago and where he is now, is it just a thing of just being like, hey man, I'm gonna do what they say. I'm not going to rock the boat because I'm getting these opportunities. I don't want to be a troublemaker.
Done everything. He's not a new guy. He's done everything with his company. He's won every
he's seen his push loss, though.
So he has nothing to lose. What's he going to lose?
You
fire him? Great. He had a great career then. He can go home with his head held high. I stuck up for my own self. I wanted to do something different. They didn't want me to do it. Oh, well. See you, WWE. I was here for 10 years. I won every title there was, except for actually he did win the heavyweight championship. I think he would definitely roll the dice at this point in his career.
We'll see. Can Brock cash in on Kofi?
Ugh. I don't care. I'm so annoyed with it. I can't believe I'm so annoyed with Brock being back at all. I really am.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about that. So Kofi retained over Kevin Owens. Then we had a really, really great men's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yes, it was.
Baron Corbin, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Andrade, Randy Orton, and Ali. 7 out of 8 men. Who's the 8th man going to be? Who cared for the majority of this? Because it was awesome. Matt, what were your favorite spots?
Oh my! All of them? I'm being dead serious. There was even Drew toward the end where he just picked Ricochet up. Was it Ricochet or Ali? Grabbed by his face, just chucked him over the top rope, and there was a ladder he landed on that we forgot all about earlier. That was
Ricochet,
the announce table. But the power bomb, the sunset flip power bomb from what's his name, Andrade, up to
yeah.
Balor.
Yeah,
Holy I've never seen anything like that.
It's awesome. Absolutely awesome. And Raj, to your tweet and point, I did think Ali was Nakamura for at least half of the match.
Right, yeah. I mean, he's like wearing his gear. It was like he borrowed it. And then
red pants and long hair.
The hair, yeah.
Sebby keeps doing, Sebby keeps slingshotting himself through the ropes like every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's his gimmick to enter the ring every single time.
I mean,
another thing you do, you slingshot yourself through the ropes, keep doing it.
This was great. I mean, given this era, given these performers, I mean, this ladder match was incredible.
How much must it suck when you're like busting your ass, 7 guys, and knowing that none of you are going to win anyways,
I think if you're a performer, you're
right.
You're not that big of a mark for it, right? You're not. You want to crush it, and you want everyone to talk about your part of the match. Finn Balor, for instance, made sure people are going to be talking about what he did in that match.
Randy Orton kind of wears his heart on his sleeve a little bit, and I felt like he looked really annoyed at the end after Brock won.
I didn't see his face. I didn't see.
He looked like this is freaking stupid.
I threw my remote, my gimmick remote. I was so pissed off.
Yeah.
Not in a way. Hang on. Not in a way. WWE, we're gonna get money from me. I'm gonna come to the arenas worldwide to see Brock Lesnar get beat now. Not that kind of heat.
Yeah. I think that was the problem with tonight. Glenn, if you want to go through what happened, and then
well, no, I mean, essentially got to the point where just Brock came out near the end, right? I think it was Ali who was going up. There was the last one that looked like he had a chance.
And then
all the guys were out of the ring.
I'll do it. Yeah, hand on that briefcase.
How stupid do they make him look? By you're like a foot away. And by the time Brock's music hit and he gets to the ring, that's like a 45 seconds. You could get up that other rung and grab the briefcase.
But they all do that every single time. My favorite is when the guy puts a ladder up that's not tall enough. Which, if you go back and watch, Orton did earlier. Yeah. But real quick, I was saying Ali was climbing the ladder, had a hand on the actual briefcase. I thought for sure he was actually going to win here. I was like, holy, he's about to win this. Raj called it. One of you guys called it. And then boom. Brock's music hits, everyone's jaw hits the ground, everyone bleeps themselves. Brock comes out with a shit-eating grin, tips the ladder over, and puts another one up and takes 10 seconds to do so.
He had a hard time getting up there.
Oh, he was scared.
He looked like he was the
first
time
to for the record.
Climb the ladder.
I don't like heights. I would have been scared too. So Brock climbs the ladder, grabs it. He's your new Money in the Bank. Blah, blah, blah,
yeah, and they go off the air with Brock smiling.
Dude, did you see when he knocked that ladder over and like a bunch of cameramen
in the face? I popped huge for that action. That was hilarious. There's like 3 camera guys.
This whole ending is like Vince trolling us. We have one of the all-time great men's Money in the Bank ladder matches. Yeah, look at all these smaller guys that are doing amazing work that aren't in the cruiserweight division, that are being taken seriously as the main talent. You think they have arrived, and then nope. Psych suckers. Here's Brock Lesnar back to dominate everything.
In a good way. Not in a good heat way. Let me be very clear about that, because everyone who's watching, well, that's the point, stupid, for you to hate him and he has bully heat now. No, he had bully heat 8 years ago.
So Chris Jericho tweeted after the match. He goes, "Awesome to see Brock Lesnar win the Money in the Bank match, even though he wasn't officially entered. Brock is the future of the biz, and this perfect example of genius booking shows why WWE will remain on top forever. Go Brock, go!" So Jericho taking a pretty good shot tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's being facetious.
Yeah, he's definitely being facetious.
It's up and comer Brock Lesnar.
Look, I mean, we see it when ratings get low. Vince goes to what works, right? Like when ratings were dropping.
Get CM Punk then. Go get anybody else. We just got done with Brock.
Yeah. But in '96, whatever it was with WrestleMania, the one where it was supposed to be Bret and Shawn. WrestleMania 13. It was supposed to be Bret and Shawn. Shawn lost his smile. Then Vince got cold feet and switched to Sid versus Undertaker, Bret versus Stone Cold. Wow. And at that time, Stone Cold wasn't at that level. But when he gets cold feet, he goes with the guys he feels like are made guys. And so in this case, it's Brock. Back then, it was Undertaker and Sid. And Undertaker, obviously, is a legend. But
let's make one other thing clear. This is a complete waste of Money in the Bank contract winner if it's just to go to face Seth Rollins at that. What's the name of it?
Super Showdown, which is in 2.5 weeks
in Jeddah.
They didn't say Saudi Arabia. I don't think they're going to say the word Saudi Arabia. They'll say Jeddah, hoping people don't know where Jeddah is. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, but basically, 3 weeks after Money in the Bank, no one has the briefcase, right? Because Bayley cashed in tonight. Brock is, most likely cashing in for that.
And I kept wondering why the hell are they doing that last? They never do. It's usually they usually can. There's always that hope, which always made those championship matches awesome at Money in the Bank. Was the contract winner could come out that night and cash in. There's always that. That's part of the suspense.
Yeah,
and to put them last, I did not like them putting them last.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now we know why. So I'm sure tomorrow night on Raw, we're going to have a lot of answers and know where this is going. We'll know what that new title is. Maybe that'll be something Brock will be involved with this briefcase.
And real quick, so the Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio match was cut short because of the bloody nose that Joe suffered. So he suffered a broken nose, and then they called for it to get cut off early. So they went quickly to the finish right after that happened. It was supposed to be longer.
Huh. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Anything else before we wrap this up, Raj?
Ric Flair is, and man, what a pro Charlotte Flair is for, the job she did tonight. Rick, had a medical scare last week. He's going in for surgery tomorrow. Let me see. It's some sort of heart surgery that he's going in for tomorrow. So, keep, I don't want to make it. We don't know exactly how serious the surgery is, what it is. So,
hard guys, keep Ric Flair in your prayers tonight.
But yeah, keep him in. He's he's lived the life. So here's hoping that everything goes well. I talked to Flair last year on the 1 year anniversary of his health scare, and just talking to him last year, and he was so full of life and so ready for the second inning. So hoping it keeps going and I'm sure everything will go well.
Absolutely. Keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And we'll be back here tomorrow night to talk about Monday Night Raw, the fallout for Money in the Bank. Until next time, we'll catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.